Alrighty, welcome to Hawkeytown. This is our premiere episode. We're here at Eddie's Flat Iron Pizza in North Portland. I'm here with Brad Harrison. We also got Travis Higgins over on the other side of the table. We're going to be talking Winter Hawk stuff, Winter Hawks hockey for every Monday night. We'll be doing live shows here very soon. But we're going to try to bring in a Winter Hawk or somebody associated hardcore with hockey. And first off, our premiere episode is Brad Harrison, which you might know him as Dirty Harry if you've got some experience with the Winter Hawks from a few years ago. Played with the Winter Hawks. Let's see, I got you as 89, 90, and 90-91.
Yep, 2 years with the Winter Hawks. Broke into the league with Moose Jaw and Prince Albert. And then got traded down here for my 19 and 20-year-old season.
So from Calgary, now you're the way players get to Portland now is they get drafted in advance of like 14 or 15-year-olds, but that's not the way it happened in your day.
Well, back kind of in my day now to say that, I mean, I'm pretty old. I'll be 42 at the end of the week, so. Friday's a big birthday, big 4-2. So.
Big 4-2.
But yeah, back when I played, I believe they still have the 50-player list, but that's kind of how they utilize it. The bantam draft came into effect a little bit after myself. A lot of guys used to just finish up with their midget and kind of go to whoever 50-player list they were on. You'd still go to camps and whatnot, but they usually finished out their midget, unless they, thought you were really ready at 16, which it was, few and far between back then. Again, finished my midget career out in Calgary, and went on to Moose Jaw.
But at age 18, you get to play Moose Jaw for about half a season?
Yeah, played half a season in Moose Jaw. Nice little hockey town there in the prairies. It gets pretty cold there in the winter, but typical Canadian town.
All right, every time the camera shakes a little bit, that's when Travis is laughing and wants to get into a conversation. Even though you're not from Canada, right?
No, I was born in Vancouver, BC also.
Okay, we'll get to Travis here in a second. So now you're 18, you're playing hockey, you're in Moose Jaw, you're getting affiliated, used to the community, and then you get traded. What's it like to get traded when you're 18?
It's different. I mean, it's kind of, you're originally leaving your family to go live with another family because all the players in the Western League are housed by families of the community. So you get a tight bind with the people you live with, and it's kind of tough to say goodbye. But it's all kind of part and parcel of the game,
of the professional. I look at it as a professional game. Like in Portland, we have on the website. I put pro sports, and that's the Timbers and the Blazers, and I put the Winter Hawks in there too, even though they're not a professional.
Yeah,
sport.
I mean it's classified as amateur just because you don't get a salary. You get a stipend, and you still have your school qualifications and whatnot. But the stipend is basically gas money and everything else to live off of. You're definitely not making a living from it.
So then you get traded again the next season. What's that like?
Actually, I kind of look forward to that. This was sort of the boom down here in the U.S. with Portland being the most successful franchise and kind of the biggest team in the market. When we played against Portland and you came to town, you knew it was a sellout every night. 10,000 plus fans in the Coliseum. Just a great ambiance, great environment for the game. So I was totally excited to get traded down here.
So the Winter Hawks with the sellouts and all that was like right before you got here, or was it when you were playing here? Because the records are not all that.
Yeah, we had a great following, even though our records were a little subpar. We had both teams I played for over those 2 years. We had really competitive teams. Had great rivalries with Seattle, Spokane, Tri-Cities. So we still had a great fan base, 4,000 to 5,000 minimum. And, on the bigger games when you saw a lot of the other out-of-town, Eastern Conference team come through, of course it would elevate the fan base for those nights. But all in all, we had a great fan base here. Portland has the best fans around.
The Buckaroos have kind of like reappeared as being this the history of the bucket. Was that still around? Did you hear much of that when you were there?
Not a lot. I mean, you always had the stories. I met a lot of their ex-players, great guys. A lot of them stayed down here, as I have, to work in the community, build businesses, whatnot. And they really back and support the team around here. But it's, great to see an upheaval of a successful franchise like that to kind of get everybody back involved in the game.
Some of the players that you play with, doing some research here. Byron Defoe, how well did you know him?
Oh, really well. Byron was our starting goaltender. Great guy on and off the ice, and went on to play a few years in the NHL. Just a great all-out guy.
Steve Konowalchuk, he was on your line, right?
Yeah, we had Harry and the Chuckers, as we were noted, and it was Steve Konowalchuk, myself, and Dennis Zaharchuk. We got to play together all year long, and we had a pretty successful year ourselves. Fortunately for Kono, he's a good, hard-nosed young player, and he went on to bigger and better things in the NHL, and had a great career there, and now he's coaching in the league, the same league where it all began. So. He's
the head coach of the Seattle T-Birds.
Yeah, if you look back, who would have thought? But anything he can pass along to and give back to the game, that's a great thing for him.
How much are you still in contact with him?
Not a lot. Over the years, we kind of, an email here, an email there, but not a ton. Unfortunately, everybody kind of experiences life and gets, has a family and whatnot, and in a way, thank goodness for Facebook and everything else, because you can kind of track people down.
I'm with that as well. So after that, after the Winterhawks, there's a couple of years off. What happened then?
Basically, after the Winterhawks, I got married to a local gal here from Portland that I dated my playing years here. We got married, had a child, and ended up the marriage didn't work out, but I stayed around in the Portland area for my son Justin, and he's now a young adult. He just graduated from the Marines, so he's a full-fledged Marine now, and definitely proud of him and what he's done.
Congratulations on that. Is he so as a Marine, where is he in line Middle East wise?
He's all right. Even though things were sort of flaring up again, he still has quite a bit of training to do. If need be, he's ready, but I don't think he'll get deployed. So, which I'm kind of happy about that.
So, take a couple years off. What gets you back into hockey?
Definitely the love of the game. I tried the working world, and I still had a few years left to play, and decided to get back in it, and went to the East Coast League and played a few years there, and I'm glad I did. It's sort of a couple steps up from the Western League, but the same bus travel and everything like that, so that continued. But it had a lot of good experiences.
So you're a professional player at that point, and played about four more years. What's the pay like as a professional in the East Coast and East Coast Hockey League?
Well, I was a bartender during the summer, so the pay wasn't that great. But again, you're doing something you love, and you can make enough to survive off it throughout the year. But you're not going to become rich and famous from it until you get to the NHL.
I got you playing in Amarillo and New Mexico too, or in Reno.
Yeah, there was a new league that popped up, and actually a couple guys that I played against in the Western League had started it. They were done their playing days, and they had started a league, and I was kind of on the crossroads on what I was going to do, so I gave them a call, and they said, well, we need some players here, we need some players there, and I filled the void for a while, and I went to Amarillo first, and then New Mexico traded for me. So again, that's all part of the game. I had great experiences in both places, but to a degree, who would think hockey in New Mexico?
Not me in Reno. Okay, so I'm doing all this, getting all this info from Hawkeydatabase.com, which is a fabulous site. Roller hockey. Had you played roller hockey before you got into professional roller hockey?
That was sort of That was an interesting decision. It was,
I remember that.
you know, roller hockey was became sort of a booming mini sport.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys use it for off-season training, and you know, RHI became sort of a functioning professional league where guys got paid, so you're able to do your training in the off-season and get paid for it. Got to travel to a lot of nice places and play in a lot of the buildings. You know, a lot of them were housed in NHL buildings, so it was neat. You know, I played for a couple years, and you know, after the wear and tear, I sort of backed off a little bit, and I only played one more year of ice after that anyways, and retired.
They got Portland Rage, so where did they play at?
We played out of the Coliseum here in Portland. Again, a local guy was the owner, and you know, basically had tryouts for a couple weekends. They handpicked a team, and then we went at it. So it was
just like hockey, only on the concrete.
It is. It's just like hockey. A few of the rinks they had, we played on concrete with a rubber surface over top of it, and other facilities use sports court, which is sort of a plexi type surface. But it was great. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was full contact. It was fighting. It was a lot of good times.
Fighting, that's one of the things that I know when we go to watch a Winterhawks game, my wife is just waiting for that first little, oh, wait a second, come on, get into it, fight. I mean, you've got to fight for your, there's always, it's like fighting is part of the game. Do you think it should be part of the game?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's something you don't want to change. I mean, it's a game that, you know, we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. You know, it's a self-policed league and game, and it should stay that way. I mean, you know, yeah, you get penalized for it. I mean, anything out of the realm, you know, suspensions will take care of the rest. But I mean, you know, two guys drop their gloves, and then usually afterwards, again, when we become a professional, usually go out for drinks afterwards. So it's, you know, it is what it is. It is part of the game, but I think they should leave it alone.
Let me throw a couple other names at you. Terry Virtue.
Yeah, Virch, I think he's somewhere coaching now. He went on, he played a little bit in the AHL, had probably a lengthy career in the East Coast League AHL, and I think he got called up a couple times to the Bruins in the NHL.
I got him 5 games in the NHL. Looking through his career, again on the hockey database, that he looks like Crash Davis of hockey. He's been like everywhere.
He's been around, but I mean, again, you got to do things that you need to do to get you. You know, he ended up playing 5 games. You know, it's a pretty healthy resume there. But again, you do what you have to do to get in the lineup, and that's 5 more games than most guys have played. So it's good. You know, he was a great guy. You know, again, I think he's coaching now somewhere. So again, another guy that's passing along some of his tutelage to some kids.
We got him at I got him at Tri-City.
Up in Tri-Cities, yeah.
And now I think he might be back in Canada. Brent Fleetwood.
Yeah, Fleeter. We played 2 years down here, and then we played on the roller hockey together as well. I think he played a little bit. I think in the Central League a little bit after his Winterhawk days. And I'm not sure if he went back to Canada or he may be even somewhere back east right now down in the States. So
Blake Wesley, he was on the roller hockey team. He was a guy from the 70s.
Yeah, he was early. He was, I think, one of the originals back when the Winterhawks first came down here from Edmonton. You know, ex-NHLer. He ended up being our coach for the Rage. I think he even had to suit up for one game, so we called him Reg Dunlop because his player coach Reg Dunlop. But, you know, another great guy, and he's up in Penticton now coaching an academy up there.
So you're keeping pretty good track of, I guess, is that Facebook, or are you just
it's sort of a lot of hearsay about Facebook. You know, just kind of keeping in touch with others that, you know, regardless of where most of these people have gone, their billet families are still here, so you always hear something through the grapevine.
Let's see. The current Winterhawks. How much do you keep in touch, or how much do they keep in touch with you even?
Sort of the new regime, I haven't really had that much contact with. You know, they built up a pretty good franchise. one of my ex-roommates is, I think, the director of hockey operations for them now. He started out in scouting, and he's done a good job. That's Matt Barger. Other than that, a lot of the new guys, I haven't really had the pleasure. I've met them a couple times, but other than that, they're busy with their business, and I'm kind of busy with mine. So it's it's kind of tough being on the outside at times, but always wish them well, and hope they put a new crop of good competitive kids together to get Portland back to the top.
Again, we're here at Eddie's Flatiron Pizza over in North Portland. It's right off the I-5 in Killingsworth. Actually very near my home. I can walk here if I need to. You're down in Sherwood, so I guess bartending in the off season, and that's something that you keep doing.
Yeah, I kind of.
What's going on in Sherwood?
Once I finished my playing career, I got into kind of coaching, reffing, and teaching lessons around the Portland area. Did my lessons out of Beaverton. So I was still kind of in the hockey community. Took on, did a lot of coaching as far as different age groups, a couple teams at a time. Did that for about 6 or 7 years, and then kind of finally just, it took its toll on me, and I kind of backed off and just had to reevaluate what I wanted to do. And I kind of, bartending has always kind of been in the old back pocket, so I said, I'm going to go back to do that. I mean, sports are really popular at a majority of the bars now, and I said, you can get paid to watch sports and mix some drinks, so why not? So I kind of go back into the bartending thing, and been doing it for the last 8 years, so enjoyed it.
How often does I guess your playing background come up in as a bartender?
It does. I mean, there's still people out there that recognize me. Again, there's still some guys that used to play even if it wasn't from my era, but from certain eras that are still around town. They'll pop into the bar and I'll see them. They all have families now, so it's kind of, it's neat to see. But again, it's sort of on that low key. You see him as a hockey player. Certain people that see you out remember you from the Winter Hawks, but at the same time, everybody's sort of moved on with life, and you get to kind of bring back the memories with the guys that played, and just see how their families and everything are doing now.
I saw that you had worked on getting like a 30-year anniversary together, or online, or how often are there anniversary or team like get-togethers?
They've tried to put functions like that together, and it's a tough nut. I mean, with everybody, you have guys from Canada that go back to Canada, guys that stay down in the States but in other cities now. I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, a reunion or alumni type deal would be awesome, but it is hard. Kelly Hubbard, who's another ex-Winter Hawk that lives around in the area as well, we kind of touch base, and we tried to do that many years ago, and it's, again, you have a lot of the guys want to do it, but just whether it's financially or not able to get time off work, or they got the families now, it's tough to do, but it'd be great to get 30 years worth of players back here, whether it's just to kind of.
It's having gone through a couple of reunions in high school. That's a challenge too.
It is.
Although now we got Facebook, so there's
that may be the next venture.
Get everybody together via Facebook. You got a favorite NHL team?
I've always kind of, I'm born in Vancouver, so I've always liked the Canucks. Growing up, I was an Oilers fan, even though I lived in Calgary. Couldn't stand the Flames, but loved the Oilers. I love the dynasty they built there. It was always a Gretzky, Messier, Curry, Glenn Anderson. They had that whole dynasty there. And
Paul Coffey,
well, Paul Coffey, he's money too, but I like the whole roster. So, kind of love them. I still kind of lean towards the Canadian teams just because it's sort of, they're almost like dinosaurs. They're kind of going extinct. There's not many of them left, but it's hard to track teams now because players seem to leave every other game. So that's a tough part of it. But I'd say Vancouver. I usually pull for them.
All right, I got to drag something out here. I went through my bag of stuff that I've been keeping around.
Oh, we got some paraphernalia.
I got the Winter Hawks coffee cup warmer, and then I got one of my pucks. I'm not sure.
Was that $1 million seller?
I'm not sure if that was $1 million seller. That was I think I found that at a garage sale or something like that.
We might be able to get something for that on eBay.
See, that's why I keep that thing around. This has, I think this got some cachet. Somebody will like.
I think you need the Winterhawks to win the Memorial Cup this year. That'll be a hot item on eBay.
See, I think it's got some value to it because the Winterhawks have two names here. It's not the Winterhawks. It's still the Winter Hawks. So I got my puck from the WHL. This one's been around for a while.
That's way back in the day too.
I don't think that one actually came from the ice. I might have just bought that or got it somewhere. How much stuff do you have, like paraphernalia, do you have from your playing days?
I have a ton of stuff, jerseys, stuff like that. I've got player cards, the whole ball of wax. I got a scrapbook at home. That's one good thing around here. The Winterhawks had a great booster organization, and most of them put scrapbooks together for the players for a memorabilia standpoint, and they had pictures, articles. We used to do a ton of public appearances at places like Eddie's Flatiron Pizza. Back in the day, we'd go to Fred Meyer's, all the pizza places. It was pretty cool, and the boosters would always show up, and we did certain stuff. The 65 Roses, I think that's still in play. We used to do once a month.
Tony Roma.
Totally, I used to do Tony Roma stuff. I mean, tons of stuff just to try and get involved in the community, and whether it's to help something for a good cause or just basically for the Winterhawk cause to try and get more fans out there. We did it.
Doing a little research online, I came across a story. This is online again. It's a story about how you were quitting the team because of player fines that you thought were unfair and unjust.
How did you find out about that?
Hey man, the internet has all kinds of stuff up there. Wow. So how about that? Thank you.
He's dropping bombs on you now.
There we go. So now,
are you CIA or?
I tell you, there's stuff on the internet, and I spent a little time. Let's find out who Brad Harrison is. So, and by the way, I got you selling harmonicas. Do you sell harmonicas?
I'm still waiting for my loyalty.
See, Brad Harrison has there's a lot of Brad Harrison out there, so I actually had to go to page 4 and 5 to find some of these things.
I'm not even on the top page. That's how bad that is.
No, you're at the top there.
I'm losing out to a harmonica set.
In getting to the fine part I had, you got to go through a few pages. So now players, your teammates are getting fines for drinking and driving, or staying out too late, or who they're hanging out with.
Let's pull that back. We're all minors, so
exactly. That's what they would fine you for.
What are you talking about? There was we stayed out past curfew. So it was a curfew violation, and we were just getting ready to go on our bus trip to Kamloops and Victoria. I was the captain, so I basically went down, stood up for everyone, and basically said, we didn't make anything at the time anyways. They're basically taking away your stipend, and I'm like, I disagree with it. Whatever, if you want to practice as hard and go with that. But as far as taking money out of people's pockets, that's ridiculous.
You remember how much the fines were?
Well,
like $15, $25, or were they more?
Well, for the younger guys, I think it was $50, but for the older guys like myself, it was like $250, which is a lot back then. So I was like, I disagreed with it. I think it all came out in the wash. We probably got I asked him if we could finance it. But anyways, I basically wasn't going to make the trip, and I basically said I'm done, and we ended up working it out. But
okay, so that's one that made the internet, and can you tell us a story that didn't make the internet that we might be entertained by?
Well, I have another story. My first year I was captain in Huntington, West Virginia, and we sort of went through the same deal where they ended up firing our coach, and we basically went on strike. We weren't going to play that night in a game, so I'm on the phone with the league office. And basically, they said they were going to nullify all our contracts, and we had a vote. We buckled under pressure, but I think we should have held out. So I don't know. Sometimes in a leadership role, you got to do what's best for the team, and again, you don't want it to affect the fans. But you have to make a statement for yourself. You guys are the ones that are going to battle every night, and you have to watch one another's back when, you know, no offense, most other people won't. So
do you ever wish that, you know, when something like that happens, you and the management could get on the ice and drop your, you know what, you guys are, come on, we're all hockey players, let's get out
I
here.
guess it's a good thing I don't play anymore. Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
So playing days are, you were playing until recently?
I haven't probably skated in 4 years. You know, I played in an over 35 league over at Sherwood. Other than that, just, you know, I've been working. I work a lot, so that's kind of consumed most of my time.
So younger players, if they were to show up and they came down into your sports bar in the part that's not the bar, in the restaurant part, and said, hey, you know, tell us about the hockey. What advice can you give us that, you know, might help us out in our careers?
You know, definitely, I would basically just say, you know, just work as hard as you can. You know, stay focused. Staying focused is the main thing. But I mean, you know, stay, you know, well conditioned. You know, work out as much as you can, and work as hard as you can. You know, it's a tough sport to kind of move to the next level. You know, there's a book out there. I think it's Many Are Called, Few Are Signed. I think that's the title of it, and that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's you know, you could be that 1 in a million, but you know, a lot of times even the best players don't get called, so it's tough. So you know, do the best you can just to work as hard as you can and get to the highest level you can.
They had today nowadays they in the WHL, whenever you play, they agree to finance a year of college. Did they have that?
Yeah, we had that back when we played. You know, yeah, most of it is related to Canadian universities because it's a little cheaper to go to school up there, and that's where a majority of the players come from, is Canada. You know, so you negotiate your education contract, and you know, it either covers a year or maybe even a little bit more. And usually the booster club was great about that too. If you were a little short and you were 3 years into your schooling and needed a fourth because you only played 3 years in the league, you know, you could write them a letter and just say, hey, you know, I'm in a bit of a bind.
Is that something you took advantage of at all?
Well, once you sign a pro contract, it goes null and void, which
that's
sort of the drawback on doing that, because we were, you know, it's one thing to sign an NHL contract because then you could probably buy a school. You know, in minor pro, you're not making a lot anyways, and then if you decide to go back to school, you've sort of nixed out the money you could have had. So it's tough, but again, as much as I love school, yes, kids, you have to go, but I didn't utilize it. I probably could have. But I mean, I like to go to school more to socialize it, really, for the schooling part of it. So I did graduate.
One of the things I always ask at the end of the year, I'll write a few stories about the high school athletes and ask them, do you think you were a student athlete or an athletic student? And you know, usually they're all, oh, I'm a student athlete, but I think the ones who are a little more honest, they'll go, you know, my main thing here was that I was an athlete, and you know, I studied just because I needed to graduate so I could go to the next level. So I can understand that completely.
I mean, I had the luxury when I actually played here. I was already graduated from high school,
yeah.
So, and they weren't really. Now they make sure you're either in high school, or even if you're not in high school, they want you to pursue more education, so you have to take a class. They were a little more lax back in the day, and so I was kind of I got to have a lot of time at the gym.
Jim, yeah. Nowadays they even have online universities. I don't think many of the players even like stay with the Billet family. They like room together and they go to college online. Even, so. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming down, or I guess driving up from Sherwood, and
no problem, my pleasure.
Hanging and chatting with us. It's been very entertaining. So we'll get this up on the internet and see what your former players, and maybe get a hold of you. So you're on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook.
Be very entertaining to have a Winterhawk reunion, and I'm sure we could probably fill a pretty decent sizable facility, eh?
I think we could. You know, again, there's a lot of guys. There's even a lot of local guys. It's just a matter of getting in touch with them. And you know, I'd say we probably have 15 to 20 local guys that have played for the Winterhawks in the past and are around here now. So that would be a good start, and see who everybody can kind of pull in.
All right, I'm Cliff Henning along with Brad Harrison. You got Travis Higgins here as well. He's been shaking the camera every once in a while when it's been funny. So this is Hawkeytown. We're on Hawkeytown.net. We'll be putting this up on YouTube. And check out the website, Hawkeytown.net, when you can. And OregonSports.com. We're following the Winterhawks on there. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.